Here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Hey, this is Hunter from Thrills United, and you're listening to the Koaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, this is Skylar from Koaster Kids and Thrills United, and you're listening to the Koaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, I'm Jacopo. I'm the Thrills United Koaster representative from Rome, Italy, and you are listening to the Koaster Challenge podcast.
Hey guys, it's Logan from Thrills United, and this is Thrills United Month on the Koaster Challenge podcast.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Thrills United Month here on the Koaster Challenge podcast, and I'm David Cantu.
And I'm Ivah Shifley.
And today we are here because we have got, we've been really celebrating one heck of a month for Thrills United. For those that are just joining us, we're here to celebrate a great organization that aligns very well with our mission here at the Koaster Challenge podcast, and that is helping people be able to break their fears, be able to break their anxieties. But also, the one thing about we all do, and Thrills United is also really good at doing, is also building friendships and community and just bringing people together.
Yes, it's all about being one large community and supporting each other no matter what you're facing, whether it be a disability or facing your fears on any of your rides. It's all about supporting one another.
Exactly. Today we've got very, very special guests. We've actually got the founder who started Thrills United. We've got the one and only Logan Joyner joining us here today. And he's actually here in the studio with me and Ivah. So we're very honored to have Logan here today. Right now, before we get to that, we are going to talk about Thrills United here, because how did it all started? Well, it's all because Logan started another organization that has really grown worldwide, and that was Koaster Kids. When Logan started Koaster Kids, it has become a world sensation with kids from all over the place. Not just kids, people in general of all ages have just grown to Logan's message of being brave and ride on. We are going to share with all of you how did this all started, and it all started with Koaster Kids. Basically, we're going to share with you all right here today. We're going to share you Logan's story about how Koaster Kids begun. So take a listen.
If you go to an amusement park anywhere in the country, you're likely to see some coaster kids. Young people who love roller coasters and challenging each other to confront and overcome their fears and ride some of the tallest and fastest roller coasters in the world. The person behind the Koaster Kids phenomenon, Logan Joyner, an 11-year-old from Cincinnati, Ohio. Logan goes to theme parks, rides roller coasters, and rates them on the Logan Scream scale of 0 to 5 screams. In the last year, Logan has ridden the 10 tallest coasters in North America, sharing every experience with his YouTube audience. His Koaster Kids YouTube channel has taken off, with thousands of subscribers and millions of views. According to YouTube, kids in 181 different countries are watching Koaster Kids videos. And Logan has a passionate following of young coaster enthusiasts who come out to meet him when he visits their local theme park. But most of Logan's viewers and fans have no idea about the remarkable story behind Koaster Kids. They don't know that there was a time when no one would have imagined that Logan would ever ride a roller coaster, let alone hosting a YouTube channel. Logan was born a healthy 10 pounds, 10 ounces, and started growing and developing the same as his sisters did. Logan played hard and he slept hard, but he didn't start talking by his first birthday the way his sisters did. He still wasn't talking by his second birthday, but he was an active kid and was fascinated by anything on video, watching and imitating whatever he saw for hours, doing the same things over and over. Over time, the repetitive behavior increased and turned into a compulsive need for him to do the same things a certain way every time. When Logan was 3 years old, he still couldn't talk, and he grew increasingly frustrated and overwhelmed by everything around him. He would scream and cry for hours every day, clearly upset, but unable to communicate. He started to cover his ears and scream when he was upset. Then he started repeatedly hitting himself in the face. That's when his parents realized this wasn't just the terrible threes or a fussy child. Something was wrong with their boy. They had Logan evaluated by a team of special educators at their local school district and received the diagnosis that an increasing number of parents are receiving. Logan was on the autism spectrum.
Coming home from that meeting was hard. No parent wants to hear that their child has autism, but on the other hand, it explains so much about his behavior. So we talked about it, we prayed about it, and we decided to be positive. I mean, what were they really telling us? They were telling us that Logan was special. Well, we already knew Logan was special. So we found out that our school district had a special needs preschool program and that they could get Logan in right away. I remember at the first meeting, they had this amazing plan for Logan. They were going to teach him how to read, they were going to teach him how to write, how to cut and hold scissors correctly. I just remember feeling at that time, I just want to hear Logan talk. I just want to hear him say, "I love you, Mom," for the first time. And he did great in that program. He did learn how to read. He did learn how to write. And in just a few months, he started to talk. And now he wouldn't just look at a person and talk to them. No way would he do that. He started talking by looking at pictures. He would see a picture of an apple and say apple. And so he would look down at these pictures and talk. And soon he would look at a picture of our family. He had never called me Mom, and he had never called my husband Dad, but he would look at a picture of our family and he would look down and say Mom, Dad, Amanda, Natalie. And after a few months of that, he didn't need the picture anymore. He started talking right to us. So Logan was in that preschool program for a year and a half, and he did so well. He developed so much. By the time he was 5, he was ready to start kindergarten.
Logan was doing great. He loved going to nearby Kings Island amusement park, but never left the Planet Snoopy kids area because while he was communicating better, he still suffered from many of the typical symptoms of autism spectrum disorder, like fear of loud noises, heights, strangers, crowds, unexpected situations, and fast-moving things. That's why Logan's family was shocked when he developed a fascination with, of all things, roller coasters. He would watch roller coaster videos for hours on YouTube. He especially liked the point of view or POV videos that put the viewer right in the front seat. Something about the precision of coasters appealed to Logan's detailed nature. Roller coasters go the same speed every time. They always turn in the same direction. There are no surprises on a roller coaster. Unlike the rest of the world around him, roller coasters were predictable. Logan became a student of roller coasters. By age 7, he could tell you the name of most of the roller coasters in the world, how tall they are, how fast they go, and the angle of their steepest hill. When asked if he wanted to ride a coaster, no, he'd shout, "They're too high, they're too fast. Are you crazy?" But after 2 years of watching, Logan shocked everyone when one June day when he was 9, he announced, "I'm ready to be brave." Logan wanted to ride a roller coaster. His first ride was Planet Snoopy's Flying Ace Aerial Chase. He loved the ride, but even more, he was so proud of himself. He immediately wanted to ride bigger and faster coasters. At each one, he wanted his picture taken in front of the sign as proof that he had conquered it. That summer, Logan rode every ride at Kings Island. Not only was he having the time of his life, but his parents and teachers noticed he was becoming much less sensitive to loud noises. He was less anxious and more confident. The coasters were helping him, and they decided to go to more theme parks. Their first trip was Knott's Berry Farm in California. It was here that Logan decided he wanted to start a YouTube channel about his roller coaster adventures. Koaster Kids, with a K and a K. Unfortunately, even though he was brave enough to ride coasters, he was still way too shy to be on camera doing all the talking by himself. His sister Natalie came to the rescue, and together they started making videos from other parks.
From the very beginning, Logan was always much more into roller coasters than I ever was. He was always a roller coaster guy, and I was just helping him out. But I could really see how much I was helping him, and put together, we helped a lot of other people be really brave and face their fears. We ended all our videos with the phrase, "Be brave and ride on." What we didn't expect was the huge response. We got comments and emails and video clips from kids all over the world. When Logan saw the difference he was making with his videos, his confidence completely skyrocketed. And then one day, he decided he wanted to take on this channel on his own, and I was completely okay with that. When I see how far Logan has come and how far he's grown, it completely blows me away. He's becoming into such a nice and a genuine and a confident person, and I could not be more proud.
Last year, inspired by the Ice Bucket Challenge, Logan announced the Be Brave Challenge, asking people to record themselves overcoming fear and doing something they're afraid to do. And the videos came pouring in. Logan's passion to help people be brave is also helping him overcome the number one fear most people have, public speaking, as he's been asked to share his story with groups of kids. Do you know what autism is?
Yeah, I do. So I'm on the autism spectrum, and some people like me are just not a big fan of loud noises, surprises, crowds, strangers, heights, and we just don't really like that stuff. But we are really good at keeping track of numbers, details, doing things in order, following the rules, and some people think it's a disability, but personally, I think that's how God made me. I think it's a strength. And autism kind of sounds like awesometism if you ask me.
It's now spring, and Logan is launching another season of theme park adventures. With each one, he grows more confident. Making videos is helping him get better and better at articulating his ideas. And meeting his fans at theme parks is forcing him to develop social skills. And other people are starting to notice Logan and his amazing journey. So what if somebody wants to support what you're doing? What should they do?
Well, one of the things is you can buy one of our t-shirts that affords us trips to go to theme parks. You can also subscribe to this channel, view my videos, or you can share this with whoever you know who's going through something hard so they can just know that anything is possible. And, of course, be brave and ride on.
If you love living life to the fullest, then our episode for today is for you. The 16-year-old lives a very active life, traveling the world, riding coasters alongside his friends, and currently works as a ride operator at Kings Island. Encouraging others to unite in friendship and against bullying, he and his family began Thrills United after years of success of Koaster Kids. Please help me in welcoming to the Koaster Challenge podcast, Logan Joyner.
What's going on, guys?
Thank you so much for being here today, Logan.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for inviting me onto here. This is really cool.
Well, it's a real honor to have you, sir. And what you have done in your life with Koaster Kids and now Thrills United is just truly amazing. So we really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And we're very honored to celebrate Thrills United month for you guys on here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for those words. That meant a lot.
So, Logan, for our listeners who don't know who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Logan Joyner. I'm 16 years old. I originally started off my quote-unquote fame as Koaster Kids on YouTube. It has about 30,000 subscribers right now. Pretty much the short message on that channel is I ride roller coasters and help other people overcome their fears. And now I have recently started a new channel, Thrills United. Well, it wasn't that recent. It was like 2 years ago. But that one focuses like not on just roller coasters, but also some of my other interests like action sports like bungee jumping, cliff jumping, anything fun that I like doing, ice skating, golf and stuff like that.
All right. You definitely do live a very busy life. I always see posts of you and your dad and your family doing a bunch of fun stuff, whether it's riding coasters or I know you do disc frisbee.
Yeah, that stuff's very fun as well.
All right. So Logan, for today, we're going to ask some series of questions for you. We're going to break it down a little bit between some coaster questions and just a little bit of fun questions. It could be about you working at the theme park or about your family. Sound good?
Oh yeah, sounds good.
All right. Let's start this question off with, what was your first coaster?
So my first like actual coaster was Great Pumpkin Coaster at Kings Island, which was Little Bill at the time, and that didn't really do anything for me. I kind of just rode it. But the coaster that actually got me into roller coasters that everyone knows of was Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island, and that really helped me. That was like the big coaster that I overcome, and ever since then I was completely fine overcoming any other big coaster since then.
Yeah, I've ridden Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island with our youngest daughter, and I've also ridden the twin to it at Carowinds, Kitty Hawk, which I definitely prefer Flying Ace compared to Kitty Hawk because it is so rough.
Oh yeah, me too. That thing's brutal.
Yeah, David can contest that is like his least favorite coaster of all time.
He gets the most mention on this podcast as my most least favorite coaster. That coaster gave me a headache. I had to get aspirin from Medic, and I had to step aside for 2 hours and let it subside. And yeah, I'll never go on Kitty Hawk ever again.
I hate how hard those restraints are. Like, I don't know how that's a kid's coaster.
And
like,
you know,
and
you know, so funny, I didn't have that problem with Flying Ace Aerial Chase when I was at Kings Island. The restraints are so different, and I had more fun on that ride. So
yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't a Great Pumpkin Coaster that I chose, because like at the time I was scared of literally everything. But I guess it was because I already rode that coaster in the previous year, and that still like made me a little uneasy. So I guess Flying Ace just like seemed like the big coaster at the time. Like, I don't know, just at the time it seemed appropriate to do.
Well, it is pretty big in size for a kid's coaster if you think about it.
Yeah, it's probably like 30 feet or something. It's fairly big.
Now, with the Flying Ace Aerial Chase being your first coaster, you've ridden a ton. How many have you rode, Logan? Can I ask what's your coaster count? Do you know?
It's not exact, but it's around like 546 as of what I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, it's surprising to even say it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I have some catching up to do, definitely to you, because, yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
What are you at right now?
I am sitting at 239.
Oh, geez, but still, 200s were really good as well.
Yeah, my 200th coaster was the currently down coaster at Great Adventure, which is El Toro.
That's nice. My 200th was Outlaw Run, but still, El Toro seems like a way better one.
Well, I got to make West Coast Racers my 200 coaster last year, right before the park closed for the pandemic. So right now I'm at 220, and I'm hoping to make a change this fall when I get out to Florida. We haven't ridden Velocicoaster yet. I believe you have, Logan.
Oh yeah, I have. That one's in my top 10 right now. It's like my number 6. That thing's insane.
Okay, you're the 5th big coaster enthusiast that says it's in your top 10. So let me ask you something, because people are trying to compare this thing. Sorry to be a little off subject. They're trying to compare this thing with Steel Vengeance over at Cedar Point. Now, Steel Vengeance is my number 1 because of what the coasters I've ridden. But you can't compare an RMC to Velocicoaster.
No, not at all. Like, I hear a ton of people making comparisons of that thing to Maverick, which actually makes sense because, like 70 mile an hour launch, crazy inversions, crazy transitions. Like, that actually makes sense. But compared to Steel Vengeance, no, those are 2 completely different worlds.
So that's the biggest change is, will Velocicoaster be my number 1, or is it going to be, because a lot of people said it made it their number 1, and I was like, well, I still love Stevie. I go, Stevie's still my number 1. But like I said, Iron Gwazi eventually will open at Busch Gardens. So I try to compare with the other RMCs.
Yeah, that one looks like it might be mine. I don't know if that one looks better than Steve right now. Right now, Steve is my number 5. I don't know. It might beat it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Velocicoaster is a favorite to a lot of enthusiasts and also the general public because it just hit its 1 millionth rider.
Dang, that's pretty quick. Like, Orion just had its first rider, like their 1 millionth rider, like just a week ago, which I don't know why that came to mind, but still, like that one took 2 years. Velocicoaster only took like 3 months. That's crazy. You can tell people love it.
Yeah, because Velocicoaster opened, I know, for season pass holders, back in May, I think. And then I know it opened to the actual public June 10th.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to riding it and seeing what all the hype is about. I'm sure I'm going to love it.
I've heard a few people say it was overrated, but that's probably just because they had their expectations like way too high. And like for me, my expectations were like fairly low because like Hunter was telling me for like week 2 was his number 1. And I'm like, that dude might not be. But then I wrote it. I was like, wow, that thing's crazy.
But you know what? Everybody has a different opinion, and that's why we all have different number 1s. Mine is Fury. David's is Still Vengeance. So, I mean, we all have different opinions, which is why we're all unique because, we can't all love the same coaster.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that being said, with you riding over 500 coasters, what's the one coaster that has scared you the most, Logan?
Definitely Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld when I was 7. Like the day before, I rode Barnstormer of all things, and I was scared of that thing. And then I looked at Journey to Atlantis. I was like, hey, it's kind of like a water ride. This might be fun. Went down the first drop. That was pretty. I was like, okay, that scared me, but I'm still here. I can do it. And then the second part, the like coaster section, I don't know why that of all things with like the fake turns and the airtime hill and stuff, that made me cry for a solid 10 minutes. I don't know why I put myself on that thing. I don't know why I didn't ride Shamu Express, but yeah, that thing definitely traumatized me.
Is that SeaWorld of Orlando?
Yeah, SeaWorld Orlando.
Okay, because I know that several SeaWorlds have Journey to Atlantis.
No, yeah, I should have emphasized that before, because if I did Journey to Atlantis at San Diego, that would have been even worse.
So,
because that one turns, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and it has a way bigger drop.
So I never been on the one in Orlando. Is it similar to San Diego?
Right now, I think it is because they did like a they did like a redesign of the whole ride at San Diego. So I'm pretty sure now it's similar to the one it is now. Because like you have an indoor section and then a drop. Although the second half of the San Diego one is way more intense than the one in Orlando because it's like way above the ground and stuff. So
well, yeah. When I experienced San Diego, after the drop, we're going through and then we go inside and then all of a sudden we're stopped and then all of a sudden we're going up this elevator, but the boat felt like it was tilting sideways like this and this all the way up to the top before we got to the coaster part. The elevator part kind of scared me because the way how the boat was rocking. And I was like, okay. I kind of get it, but I guess when I go to Orlando this year, I'm hoping to get a chance to experience Journey to Atlantis there. So
yeah, never mind. That one doesn't have like an elevator or anything. It just has like a really long like first half where it just has like a few lift hills and then a few turns, then another lift hill. So yeah, those actually seem way different now that you explain it.
Yeah, David, I've never ridden either. That's one of the other coasters I have not rode besides Mako at SeaWorld. So we'll have to definitely get on that one too.
Yeah, definitely.
So Logan, we're getting ready to get on Flying Ace. How were you feeling as you were approaching the station?
I kind of felt like way more confident than I did before. Like when I rode those few coasters, I was like terrified, but I was like, you know what? I'm scared, but I feel like I can do it. I got in the seat. I was perfectly fine. I don't know why we were sitting in the station for like 4 minutes, which pretty hard to do. But then we started going up the lift hill and I was like almost crying. I was like, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But as soon as we left that lift hill, I was like perfectly fine. I was like, whoa, it felt like we were flying. I've never felt anything like this before. We were like flying on top of buildings and stuff, getting really close to the ground. I was like, whoa, this is intense. I love this thing. But yeah, it was mainly on the lift hill that I was mostly scared, but then everything else was pretty much fine.
Who got the opportunity to ride Flying Ace with you?
It was actually my sister, Natalie. I don't remember if she was like trying to convince me to ride or anything, or if I just straight up hopped on it and she just went with me. But yeah, she was the one who got to ride with me and saw my reaction and stuff.
I bet that's fun getting a chance to ride some of those coasters with your bigger sister.
Oh yeah, it is pretty fun. Although she doesn't have a Kings Island season pass or anything, so I actually haven't ridden stuff with her in like a few years. But now that I got some free tickets for her, we're probably gonna go during like Con or something.
All right, you and Natalie rode Flying Ace. Getting off, how did you feel?
I was like so excited to run up to my dad and tell him how proud I was, because like he was the one who was like, okay, you got this, you can do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so intense. I can't believe I did that. I felt like I could conquer the world at that moment. I was so proud of myself. That was probably the most proud of myself I've ever been in my life.
So did you go back and get in line again?
I don't remember if I rode again or not. I either rode again or went to Kite Eating Tree, which I chickened out on so many times the year before. I have no idea why. It was just something about the like huge over the shoulder restraints that like made it seem like way scarier, because usually the frog hoppers just have the small lap bar. So I just had a feeling it was like way more intense. But then I rode that thing, and then I'm pretty sure we rode the log flume after that. And by the end of that day, I'm pretty sure I rode like most of the stuff in Planet Snoopy.
Yeah, back then it wouldn't have been Planet Snoopy. It was still wasn't it Paramount or no?
Oh no, the Nickelodeon, it changed to Planet Snoopy in 2010, and I rode into 2014. So
okay.
So yeah, but still.
How did riding Flying Ace Aerial Chase impact your life after riding it?
Well, it's hard to even put it into words. I mean, not only did that help me like overcome my fear of coasters, that was like the smallest part of the whole thing. It made me way more confident in school. Like, for example, my dad already talked about this on the podcast with you, but I returned to school that year and literally everything about me changed. I was talking to people straight on. I was looking in their eyes, talking in a clear, audible tone. I was so much more talkative, could read way better. And my teachers went up to my dad and was like, what happened? And he said, well, Logan rode all the coasters at Kings Island. They were just blown away. And it also let me make so much more friends. Like, I have so many friends now that have the same interests as me with roller coasters and going to theme parks. And now that I have Thrills United as my second channel, we like get to do all these thrilling adventures together, and that makes me so happy more than anything.
And what's amazing about Thrills United is a lot of your friends are ones that continue to be from Koaster Kids, which is awesome that you guys have kept in touch that long.
Oh yeah, it blows me away. Like my friend Zach Berger, we've been friends for like 6 years. Billy, been friends for like 4 years. I haven't really like quote unquote broken up with like any of them, because we started off with Koaster Kids and we've just gone on so long. It blows my mind, really.
Now, with Flying Ace being your first coaster, what has been your favorite coaster out of over 500 that you've rode?
Easily, without a doubt in my mind, Fury 325 at Carowinds. It's like the perfect kind of coaster. Like it's really intense, but not to the point where it like hurts, such as like Voyage or Carnon or those insane intense coasters. It's so fast. It's like one of the fastest coasters in the world. The drop is incredible. There's a lot of airtime moments and a lot of moments where it goes really low to the ground. It's really just like, it's like a perfect amount of everything. I love it.
Do you prefer riding it during the day or at night?
At night, for sure. That thing front row at night is one of the best experiences, for sure.
Yeah, I love how they have the whole track lit up and also the hive and the neon green lights. That's always my favorite thing to do at night.
Yeah, in the tunnel, that thing looks really cool as well.
So that surprises me that with as many coasters you rode, your favorite ones in the United States, because you've gone international and ridden a ton of coasters overseas. Do you have a favorite one overseas that you like?
Oh yeah, it is Expedition G-Force at Holiday Park. It's like one of the most famous coasters right now, and it definitely lives up to the hype. It's basically a way more intense version of Millennium Force, basically what everyone wished Millennium Force was. Like the twisted drop is like way crazier than you expect because it's so much steeper. All the airtime moments are so good. The overbanks are pretty forceful, and the finale is just back-to-back airtime hills. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, you're very lucky that you've had a chance to go overseas. That's one thing that David and I have hoped to eventually do one day is conquer some of the parks across the big lake. I want to do Europa Park. That's one of my bucket list parks I want to go to.
Yeah, Europa Park is really good. I think the elite theme parks in Europe that you should go to are definitely Port Aventura, Europa Park, Phantasialand, and Alton Towers. Those are like the top dogs of Europe.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Port Aventura as well. I just need to go, and you need to be like my guide over there since you and your family have been over there. Well, you and your dad definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Although it was mainly my dad who did the planning and stuff because I was only 13. Yeah, he really knows his way around to a lot of parks.
So Logan, I have to ask what is the one country and particular park or coaster you really would be on your bucket list that you really want to do?
Definitely Fuji Q Highland in Japan is one of them. Not because of the park doesn't even look that good, but the fact that it has Fujiyama, Ijunaika, Takabisha, and Dododampa all in the same park. But it's almost too good to be true. All these insane, elite, huge coasters. That looks insane. And also Tokyo Disney Sea is definitely on my bucket list. And Universal Studios Japan. That looks amazing as well.
Yeah, I have seen so many beautiful pictures of Tokyo Disney, especially the Disney Seas out there.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Disneyland there doesn't look that good, but I've heard amazing things about Disney Sea and the amazing dark rides and stuff. So many of them are way ahead of their time, and I just really want to get on them.
I think that's the one that's got the Pirates of the Caribbean that's supposed to be one of the best.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a ton. There's a ton of dark rides there, but I don't remember the names. I've looked at any videos of the park or anything, so I kind of wish I could just go into the park almost blind to it, so that way I could just be blown away by everything. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. I think there's one coaster that I know the three of us have not ridden, but I'm looking forward in Florida next year would be Tron for Disney. I think Tron might be a good experience for all three of us to experience.
Yeah, Tron looks very good as well. I'm a pretty big fan of those motorbike coasters. If I love Hagrid's, then I feel I'm gonna love Tron way more.
Yeah, I have not ridden Hagrid's yet. When we go to the park, I'll get a chance to. I have ridden a motor coaster before. I rode the one at Six Flags Darien Lake. And that was a fun little coaster.
That one was closed when I went. I wish I could have gone on that. Yeah, I feel if I was a bigger fan of Harry Potter, then I would have loved Hagrid's way more. But I love the feeling of being on the motorbike, flying around and stuff. So I feel Tron will be amazing.
I would say the only motorbike I've ridden is Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm. I don't think I've ridden any other motorbike out in the parks. There's not that many.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to ride all those type of coasters, then that's good to have on your credits.
Isn't Wave Runner at SeaWorld San Antonio a motorbike too?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one, but I have.
Yeah. So 2 for me.
1 for me. That's going to change next month, David, when I get to do Pony Express.
Pony Express is probably the most painful one I've ridden.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Sorry.
Logan's going to tell me all these painful coasters, and I'm like, I don't want to ride it now, David.
I think if you ride in the front row, you'll be fine.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't ridden it since like 2016, so maybe I remember it being really bad.
Maybe they've refurbished it or done some TLC to it back then.
I rode it about a month ago. I didn't feel it was rough. Maybe if you're in the very back, you'll feel the intensity of the launch and the whip ends of the turns. I don't know. I think they might have smoothed it out a little bit because it doesn't feel as rattly like how a B&M rattles.
I feel like it was mostly just the vehicles because like that one's way older than all the other motorbike coasters we're talking about. So I feel like it was mostly just like the fact that it was uncomfortable of all things.
Wasn't that the first motorbike coaster?
Probably. It felt like it. So.
I know at Knott's usually is kind of one of those experimental parks that gets the coasters the first.
Well, they have a few historical coasters. Montezuma's Revenge is one of the last of that type of coaster that's at Knott's Berry Farm. And Ace just made that a historical landmark coaster as well. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Knott's they don't get something new, like a new ride every year. I think they're like every 4 or 5 years, they get something new. I mean, Hang Time opened in 2018. So that's the newest coaster they've got. So I'm really curious to see because they're celebrating their 100th anniversary, but they're really doing a lot of amazing things, especially Knott's Scary Farm this year is going to be a lot of fun. I'm curious to see. There's been talk of them about expanding Ghost Town in that area with a new, bigger ride to it. I'm excited to see what they're going to do because they're already doing some planning and they're landlocked. So it's really hard for them to even make room. But I think the biggest mystery is where is Wicked Twister going to be going from Cedar Point?
I think that thing's going to get scrapped. I don't
Really?
You really think so?
I mean, I just can't think of any other park that would want that because it's already been open for almost 20 years. I feel like it wouldn't be open that much longer.
That's true.
Because like the same thing happened with Volcanoes. So I don't know. I feel like that one might be completely biting the dust.
I don't know. I've heard Michigan's Adventure with it. I've heard California Great America. I even wouldn't be surprised if Worlds of Fun got because they haven't had a new coaster since Prowler.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I don't really pay attention to any like updates or rumors or anything unless it's like a announced new coaster or coaster getting removed, but like rumors, I kind of stay away from that stuff.
I just got thinking about the parks that don't have an impulse coaster like that or similar. Because if you think Dorney has Voodoo, was it Valley Fair has one very similar to it, and then Knott's has. I feel like Montezuma's Revenge is kind of similar to Wicked Twister, just a little bit.
Yeah, sort of.
Just a little
sort
bit.
of, just it has the loop in the middle. I don't know, but only time will tell. I mean, I usually, I agree with Logan. I don't really follow the rumors or all the stuff. You'd be amazed what you hear in the community on stuff. I wait to see what the parks do. Like Green Lantern at Magic Mountain moved to LaRon. I was like, good riddance. That coaster. Yeah. But we're getting an RMC Raptor. And I've already saw the track in the parking lot, and I was like, oh, I'll be at Magic Mountain every weekend for the RMC Raptor. But I'm just glad to see where during the times we've gone through this past year that parks are still adding coasters. Business has been great. It looks like Kings Island has been very busy for you guys this season, and I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, we've also hit capacity a couple times this summer, which blows me away, especially because it is cool to see though, because the park is finally operating at full capacity and boom, it's already filled. So yeah, that's just awesome to see.
Yeah, you guys were pretty busy when I was there on Saturday. I had to wait almost 2 hours for time and back.
I remember one day when I was at Drop Tower, someone asked me for the wait. I look at the queue house, the thing is completely full. I've never seen a full queue house for Drop Tower in my life, which is 2.5 hours. Which is I would not wait more than 20 minutes for a freaking Drop Tower.
Yeah, it surprises me how rides like that get more of a wait time than some of the other ones. Like Banshee, it seems like you could have a 2-hour wait or you could have a 20-minute wait on Banshee, which is newer, obviously, in the Drop Tower.
I've never seen a line longer than 45 minutes for that thing just because the line moves so fast.
Yeah, and the capacity on it's a beast because of how many trains.
And the restraints are so easy to check as well, so you can just blast through those trains no problem.
Now you've had a chance to work at Drop Tower. I know you've worked the Bat, you've worked Beast. How many other rides have you had a chance to work at?
It's 7 other ones. I know I've worked at Delirium, Adventure Express, Banshee, Backlot, Diamondback, Orion, and you mentioned Beast. I don't know if I got all of them, but like it's about 10 coasters, 10 rides in total.
What's your favorite one to work at?
Either Orion or Diamondback, because like Diamondback is like way more chill, and also the restraints are like way easier to check because you can just like go to the side of the seat and just check the seatbelt like that. And since the ride has bins, you don't have to yell at people every 20 seconds to put their bags in a locker. That gets kind of annoying at Orion. The fact that Orion is like so fast paced and all, it almost feels like surreal that you're like working at it, because it's like, whoa, this is like the biggest ride in the park. I don't know, it's just so cool. Probably Diamondback, honestly.
Ops on Diamondback and Orion are just stellar. How quick you guys get them in and out of that station.
Although I feel like Banshee is like the fastest, have like the fastest ops in the park. And I've been there like once, but I've only been like assigning people's rows and telling people put bags in a locker. I haven't like actually operated it yet, and that's one of the ones I want to get to.
All right, so going back to your favorite coaster being Fury, what's your least favorite?
This is an oddly specific one, but Steeplechase at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It's like this single rail coaster where you ride on this like metal horse, and how like the seats work is you're sitting on this like saddle and you have these like metal bars like right next to your hips, so every time you go around a turn, your hips like slam into the bars, and every time you go up or down a hill, your body either jerks forward or backward. It's just so painful. Like Vekoma SLCs, they're not even that bad. A lot of them are actually good. It's just Steeplechase that is just plain awful. And of course, I had to ride that coaster 3 times because, 3 coasters, you got to get the credits. So it was even worse.
Yeah, that sounds painful, just having that jarring against the metal.
I don't even know how you can make the turn so bad that your whole body jerks. Like maybe you're not making it like hardlined or something. I don't know. It just confuses me how bad it is.
God, I feel like I would need a chiropractor just hearing how you describe that, Logan.
Yeah.
I've been on some painful coasters, man, but I know that what you just said there, man, I could just feel my hips creaking from that. I'm like, oh man. I remember your dad brought up Pegasus at Mount Olympus, and I saw a video of that. I have not written that yet, but I saw a video and I was like, oh my God, how are you not wearing a neck brace at the end of that ride? Man.
I mean, it's not really that painful. It's almost like so bad that it's good because of how hard you slam to the side. It's especially funny to like see people ride it for the first time. Like I remember I rode it with Bob from BK Photo Page and Chris from Maritime Thrills for the first time, and they were like, oh no, and it just like so it was just hilarious.
Yeah, I got a chance to ride it for my first time Memorial Day weekend last year. It was a pretty decent ride up until you get to the station, and then you get the
Yep.
My least favorite ride definitely there. My favorite was Zeus. I love Zeus at Mount Olympus.
I remember I loved Zeus a lot the first time I rode it, but then last time I rode it, I was just kind of like, it's kind of just an average wooden coaster. Now, like the airtime is very good. Although, you said your favorite was Zeus. Never mind. But yeah, I love that one as well. I like Cyclops as well, but I feel like that ride's only good in the back row.
Yeah, and Hades 360 was a little too rough for me.
I feel like that was like right on the edge of like tolerable for me. Like it was like rough, but it was still at the point where it's like, I love this ride. It's in my like top.
All right, Logan, I'm going to ask you this one special question. I love what you guys are doing with Thrills United. You're kind of helping people push their fears. Your friend Taylor Bybee, who I got to meet recently, been on the show, inspired me to do something that I believe your dad said it's on your bucket list to do, that I got to experience for the first time this year for my 40th birthday. I went and did the sky jump in Las Vegas off the stratosphere. So I know that your dad had mentioned that is on your bucket list of a major thrill to do. But what is the ultimate thrill you want to do in Thrills United that's on your bucket list?
Right now, skydiving just seems like at the top of my bucket list. And I know it's like everyone's dream to like do it so much that they can do it by themselves, which is probably not going to happen, but that would be something very awesome to do.
And I'm going to have to ask you, because I've seen your videos. Now, you did bungee jumping. What was that like? I've never done bungee jumping. I'm trying to see how it's compared to the sky jump. I know you don't get the shoot back up.
The shooting back up part is, well, I'll start it off. Standing over the edge is obviously the worst part because like 240 feet above water. I don't know why, but I feel like that would be even scarier than doing it like over rocks or something. And like I did it twice, one forward jump and one back jump. I feel like the forward jump was so much scarier because you just saw the water like rushing up to you, like, oh God, oh God, oh God. But then when we like sprung up and like right at the top of that, I like got this, it's kind of like the stomach dropping feeling you get on a roller coaster. Like the weightless feeling was one of the coolest things in the world. And then yeah, I sat there for like 10 minutes, the blood like rushing in my head. That was probably the worst part. But yeah, it was actually not as scary as I expected it to be. I don't know why. It's almost like one of those moments where you just kind of like do it without even thinking it. Like my brain just like didn't get to my head, which happens sometimes when doing those like terrifying things.
I think I do. I think it's like when I did the sky jump in Las Vegas, because it's the one thing about bungee jumping, sky jump is you're in control. You have to make that decision to jump. And I'm happy to say when the lady told me to jump, I jumped right away. A lot of people freeze up. So I think that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge of fear is to make that jump, because once you sit on a roller coaster, you give up control once that lap bar is down because you're in the hands of the coaster. But when it comes to these type of events, it's up to you to make when you're going to do it. And so the fact that you did it twice in two different ways of bungee jumping, that's tremendous. That's a whole different level of facing fear. Exactly. I have to commend you for that. You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Logan, now the one thing in the community, you and I share something that a lot of people in the community don't have is you have autism, I have Tourette's syndrome. Autism and Tourette's syndrome come hand in hand. And I've had a lot of challenges, just like you have when we were kids, when we were small. The one thing I guess why I'm so proud to help support your movements is that the one thing you and I have in common is, and I want to share this deeply with our listeners who are listening right now, is that roller coasters had really made an impact and change your life. I've watched you as a kid through YouTube grow up, and you have really transformed into this incredible young man. And you look like you don't even have autism. You look like a normal kid. Just like roller coasters has changed me by Tourette's. I used to twitch all the time, but when I started riding roller coasters, you don't see that much anymore. And my doctor was amazed by that. Just like what you said about your teachers at school. I remember your dad was sharing that story. So I want to dig in a little bit. I want you to share with me, because you and I both being in this same club, and there's a lot of people out there I know you've met. I've met quite a few. I would say, after what coasters have done for us both, how do you feel like outside of theme parks and stuff, as a regular person, how does that really impact your life and made a change?
I feel like it's kind of like half about the like roller coasters that's kind of helped me. I feel like it's mostly the friends who have like encouraged me to like keep going and do all these crazy stuff. Like if I didn't have Natalie by my side on Flying Ace, I feel like, I don't know, I might have hated it, or I might have just thought it was But being able to share these amazing experiences with all these friends definitely helps a lot. Like during my first few Koaster Kids days, that was kind of like a big breakthrough, because I haven't met like that many people in one day before, and I feel like that kind of helped with my breakthrough as well. So I feel like having my friends by my side while riding the roller coasters, that like kind of like completed the whole thing.
Nice. Yes, I have to agree with you on that. Since I got involved in the coaster community, meeting so many wonderful friends, including you and your dad, I have friends. So I feel like every time I travel around the country, I know that wherever I go, I've got friends there to meet me at the park. And here at home, I have friends, but not as many as like you guys out in the country. I want to thank you all for that. So Logan, where do you see the future of Thrills United? What big plans do you see that maybe you might be able to share with our listeners that they may see coming up down the road?
I feel like within the next year or so, it's going to like grow way more than it did in like 2020, because like obviously COVID, lots of canceled trips and stuff. Like we had this amazing idea for like a West Coast trip. It was in like California and then Idaho or something like that. We would like hit up some of the California parks, so like Magic Mountain, not very far, and maybe California's Great America and stuff like that. But then we head up north to either Idaho or Oregon. Actually, yeah, it was Oregon. And we would do like whitewater rafting, maybe bungee jumping again. And we were thinking about inviting like some of our West Coast friends and stuff, like Paul and Maddie and all those guys. And I feel like we might be able to make that trip happen within either the next year after that, especially since everything's opening back up. My dad's speaking stuff is finally getting back on track. He just got back from like a 5-state trip with all these events and stuff. So I feel like the channel will be able to grow a lot more now that we can finally make this amazing content that we originally planned in 2020.
Nice. And you know what? I've never done whitewater rafting. That would be really cool to experience. Oh gosh, up in Oregon, I know they've got some good water trails, man. They're pretty rough trails that would be fun to ride.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like we were also thinking, I don't really remember the name of this. It's like this terrifying trail. It's called like Angel's Landing or something like that. And it's like a terrifying like tourist attraction. That was one of the things we wanted to go to as well. But yeah, whitewater rafting seems like something like insanely like intense, and I feel like I would love it.
Now, Logan, with you riding over 500 coasters, what would be the one coaster you would marathon?
I feel like you would definitely be either Terran at Fantasyland or Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa. I feel like Fury would be a good coaster in marathon as well, but I feel like it's like so fast that it would almost be like too much if it got too many rides. But it's literally like Terran and Cheetah Hunt are like the perfect amount of intensity. It's like one of the most fun coasters I've ever been on. It's like the perfect speed. Cheetah Hunt only has one inversion. Terran has intense transitions to where it would like catch me off guard, but it wouldn't be like painful after more rides. And plus the setting of both those rides just absolutely beautiful. And I feel like I would never get tired of it. So yeah, Terran and Cheetah Hunt, I would love to marathon those.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to riding Cheetah Hunt for my first time, and David's too when we go to Busch Gardens Tampa. And I do agree, Fury is very intense. I actually had the privilege of riding it 7 times in a row, and by the time I got done with that 7 times, I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, that was kind of the same for me at the Orion photo shoot. I did it like 10 times in a row, and I got to the point, like you usually gray out a little bit on the helix, but especially since I didn't eat breakfast before that, I got like pretty close to actually blacking out, and I was like, yo, I gotta get off. So yeah, those big B&Ms probably wouldn't be the best to marathon.
I will say, as for Terran, I need to get out there and ride that coaster. I've heard way too many people who have experienced Terran, and they've told me, and I know that there's people out there trying to compare Terran, because I guess Velocicoaster and Terran are the same type of relative type of coaster. People still prefer Terran. I don't know. I got mixed. I got people saying they love Velocicoaster better than Terran, and then I got other half that say that likewise the other way. I guess I'll have to make that decision once I ride them both in the future.
I kind of feel like Velocicoaster is like the more intense version of Terran, but Terran is like the more fun version of Velocicoaster. So they kind of go like hand in hand almost.
Good to know. Thank you for that side note, Logan, because when I do ride Terran someday, I want to keep that in my mind. Fun side versus the tense side.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Logan, the one thing that is awesome about you loving theme parks is the chance to work at a theme park this year at Kings Island. So can you tell our listeners about yourself and your experience working in the theme park industry?
Well, when you say theme park industry, I'm like kind of low, but yeah, I am a ride operator there. I've had the chance to get trained at like 10 different rides. And I feel like having a general knowledge about coasters beforehand definitely helps. That's how I was able to pass the like 4-hour course before the job like way easier. So like a lot of the stuff like checking restraints, pushing dispatch and stuff, you like already understood that process like before you worked there. So like you can basically fly through it really fast. And it's also kind of cool to like look at how the coaster runs like during different points throughout the day. Sometimes you can see the coaster close for like reasons that like you wouldn't even understand like as a guest beforehand. I feel like a really good part about it is I've like kind of like grown to appreciate the park a lot more, like being able to see like all the other workers at all the other rides do like things similar, things differently. And I feel like I can relate to those people a lot more. So I've become like really good friends with almost all the workers in rides at Kings Island. So I feel like working as a ride operator, as I'm already a coaster enthusiast, it definitely helped the experience a lot more.
Now, you shared with us previously during this podcast that your favorite rides to operate are Diamondback and Orion. Mm-hmm. What would be your favorite ride to operate at another theme park?
The B&Ms are pretty fun to operate because it's like a little more fast-paced than a lot of the other ones. I would not want to do any flat rides at other parks. Flat rides are not fun to operate. Trying to think of any other coasters. Maybe one of the roller coasters that have like the moving, like I'm trying to think like
the moving platform.
Yeah, the moving platform, so like the train's like always moving, so you can just blast through those trains really fast. I feel like that would be
So kind of like Wonder Woman over at Fiesta, Texas.
In
Yeah.
Jersey Devil.
And Hagrid's and Hollywood by Rocket, like one of those rides.
Yeah, I love the swiftness of how to quick those rides definitely load. It makes the wait times a lot quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Logan, the one amazing thing about your family is they've been with you in your journey with Thrills United with Koaster Kids. Can you share with us something that makes your family unique when it comes to being enthusiasts?
The fact that they travel like a lot more than the average family, I feel like that's another part that makes it unique. The fact that like most of the people in our family have probably ridden like over 100 coasters, like no other family would probably say that. And just the fact that they're so willing to literally go to like a different continent just because their son said, "Oh, we'll ride some roller coasters." I just really appreciate the fact that they're so willing to do things like that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I would love viewing your dad's Facebook page and seeing your mom on coasters, because your mom, I don't see her out as much, obviously, as you and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool how I saw your mom on Mako. I thought that was the neatest thing.
Yeah, exactly. I love seeing her reactions on like new coasters and stuff because she like always loves all of them. It's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and your sister, I've met your sister Natalie when we did the Hallow Scream event at Kentucky Kingdom. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, she doesn't go to really many parks at all, so you're honestly kind of lucky if you can meet her.
Yeah, your whole family, you, your dad, your sister, who have met, they're both extremely, you guys are wonderful people. You're so lucky to have a family that's supportive of you and your quest to be positive in the coaster community.
Yeah, that makes me insanely happy as well. I'm very grateful for them.
All right, Logan. So first of all, I want to thank you so much. It's a great honor to have you and your dad have both been on our podcast for our first season. And I have to tell you, we have had an incredible season with special guests like yourself and your dad. Our final question for you, because this one's a very heartfelt one for me. The mission of Koaster Challenge is pretty similar to the mission of Koaster Kids and Thrills United. The mission of our podcast is to help those out there, to help them break their fears, but help them push their fears a little bit. But also it's because people who help break their fears are able to live a more better and happier life, kind of like what we've all experienced in our lives from doing what we do. There are a lot of people out there, and I have to say the past year, the pandemic really showed how much fear is in our country today.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there that are looking for help, kind of like how you and I were when we were young. What advice could you give to those that are listening right now that were like you when you were younger or like me when I was younger, that are looking to make a change for the better? And what advice could you give them to be able to make that change?
Absolutely. First thing that comes to my mind, find a mentor. It can be someone in your family. It could be someone you met online, maybe your sister. Like my dad, I feel like was like the biggest mentor in my life. Like he's the one who like helped me go on all these trips. He's the one who like gave me advice like before big events, like during my like right before my first Koaster Kids day. He like talked to me late at night and he was like, "Hey, if no one shows up, please don't be sad. I'll be right there." And the fact that he's so supportive of like Koaster Kids and Thrills United and stuff. Like when I said I didn't like the name and wanted to make a change, he was completely on board right away. So like, I feel like 100%, if there's a challenge in your life and you can't do it yourself, seek a mentor. It'll change your life.
Well said. Very well said. In fact, I think you're the first on our season that has said mentor. The one thing I will tell you, your dad had a good advice. Every guest we've had on, even Taylor, we've had park officials, you name it. Everybody has had a unique way of advice. And I love the diversity that we're able to give our listeners, is that there are so many different ways to face your fears. And what you just said is remarkable. Yes, mentor. Your dad has always been a great mentor. In fact, if your dad is in the background listening, he's a good inspiration for what he does in his profession. He helps a lot of people in this country. And I have to say, both of you have made an impact, and we're honored to have you guys in our first season of our podcast.
Thanks a lot for those words. I don't know if he's in the other room or not, but I feel like if he's definitely going to listen to this episode later, he'd really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Well, you both have been an inspiration, and we both, we consider you, to the Koaster Challenge team, we consider the Koaster Kids Thrills United team, we consider you guys family, deep, close friends, and we're here to help. And that's why we're very honored to honor you guys with this Thrills United month.
Logan, I want to thank you again so much for being with us today.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you for putting me on here.
And for those who don't know where to find Koaster Kids and Thrills United on social media, where can they find you?
So you can find Koaster Kids on all the major platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Thrills United, all the same platforms, including Snapchat, which we barely use, but it exists. And if you're interested in my dad at all, you can find him, Jeff Joyner, on Instagram and Facebook. He has a brand new YouTube channel, An Epic Life, on YouTube, it started out as kind of like motivational, like giving advice and stuff, but he just recently made a vlog in like Idaho and like the 5 states he's been. And you can also find him on Koaster Dad on Instagram. So yeah, Thrills United and Koaster Kids on all the major platforms.
All right. And I definitely encourage our listeners to purchase Koaster Kids and Thrills United merchandise too for the great cause.
Yep, you can find that at koasterkids.org and thrillsunited.com.
I just want to say, Logan, great honor, and it's awesome to have you on.
Oh, no problem at all. It's an honor for me to be on here as well. Sorry, I could have given better answers. Just being put on the spot like that, sometimes I still struggle with that, especially since I haven't made videos in like a while, but still, it's a great honor to be on here.
Oh, no, your answer was perfect, Logan, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, you were right on. So thank you, Ivah. Thank you, Logan. Logan, I got to tell you, that's such an incredible story. And I really appreciate you taking the time to really sit with me and Ivah today and really talk more about how Thrills United has become. It's really amazing what you and your friends have been doing. You and your dad have done an amazing job, especially with Koaster Kids. You're really making an impact, especially in the Koaster community abroad. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you. And I also want to say, I want to thank you and all your reps for everything you guys have done on behalf of the entire podcast team here. Very honored to be able to help celebrate your organization and to give our listeners awareness of what you guys have been trying to do.
Yes, it's such a powerful movement that we at Koaster Challenge are very fortunate to support this great movement, and will continue to do so in the future as well. So thank you again, Logan, and the Thrills United team so much.
Yes, and thank you guys, and thank you all that have been listening to our podcast. We're really kicking off the new year here in 2022, and got more incredible guests. Our season is going all the way till end of March, so we've got some very, very special guests coming up. We're just getting started here. I hope you guys will join us next week. Every Friday we have new episodes that come out. Justin, how can they find us on social media?
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you want to see more from us, we upload every Friday. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all at Koaster Challenge. Links in the description.
Thank you, Justin. Yes, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to give us a review on your favorite podcast network about our podcast. If you have any questions, you can also visit our website at coasterchallengeusa.com. We just want to thank you guys so much. We've got a very exciting episode next week, Ivah.
Yes, we do, David. So stay tuned next Friday for another awesome episode from the Koaster Challenge podcast team.
Yes, and thank you guys. Well, until then, this is David Cantu.
This is Ivah Shifley.
And we'll see you all next week right here at Koaster Challenge.